Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Proverbs, the 29th chapter. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. Because if you are constantly reproved and you still harden your neck and you don't take heed to that, eventually, right, the Lord is not going to try to correct you through words of man. He's just going to be judgment, right? Because then you're past retribution, and now just comes to destruction, and that without remedy, because you had your chances through those previous reproofs. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. See, and in the previous chapter, it echoed that. So when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Why? Because they're going to rule righteously. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Look at the world today, right? Look at the rule of the wicked, Esau, Edom, and look at the state of the world. People are mourning, right? The world is suffering. The animals, creation, people. Whoso loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father, meaning he brings joy to his father. But he that keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance. Because what's going to happen? Before you know it, you've wasted all your money. Okay, but you bring joy to your father because you bring blessing, right? You bring glory to your house, and you make your father proud, for raising you in such a way. NLT says the man who loves wisdom brings joy to his father, but if he hangs around with prostitutes, his wealth is wasted. Anyway, verse 4, it says the king by judgment establisheth the land, but he that receiveth gifts overthroweth it. See, so by the king by righteous judgment, by justice, is able to establish the land or the kingdom, but he that receiveth gifts or bribes overthrows it. It's like today when you have a shadow government, right? What did Mayor Amschelbauer say? He said, "Give me control over a nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws." Why? Because through money and bribes, you can control those that make the laws. Okay, and so a king that is driven by gifts or bribes, he doesn't rule in righteousness, right? He overthrows the land because the land is established through righteousness. But if you are now perverting judgment, you are introducing wickedness and leading eventually to the overthrow or the destruction of your land or your kingdom. A man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net for his feet. To flatter friends is to lay a trap for their feet. Because what happens when you flatter them? They let their guard down, And one interesting thing about flattery is you can flatter somebody with lies and it be not true. Like if you look at certain women, right, you watch some of these movies, these TV shows, the way they're able to take advantage or get, say, a rich man to let their guard down is through flattery. Knowing damn well this guy is not handsome, he's not smart, he's none of that, but you say it anyway, and he starts to, let his guard down around you. He's all happy and shit, and eventually he falls for that trap. In the transgression of an evil man there is a snare, but the righteous doth sing and rejoice. It says evil people are trapped by sin, but the righteous escape shouting for joy. So they're snared by their transgression. And what is the wages of sin? Death. The righteous considereth the poor, the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it. They don't even care. They don't want it. They don't even want to give it a consideration, right? The godly care about the rights of the poor, but the wicked don't care at all. And the Lord sees that. Scornful men bring a city to a snare, but wise men turn away wrath. Mockers will get the whole city agitated, but the wise will calm anger. Scoffers will set a city aflame, but wise men turn away wrath. How? Because they know what response to give, right? They give, sound advice. They know how to, what to say and how to say it in order to turn away that wrath. If a wise man contendeth with a foolish man, whether he rage or laugh, there is no rest. See, because you're now dealing with a fool according to his folly. See, so it's going to be, to no avail, right? Whether he's angry or he's laughing, there is no rest. It says, if a wise person takes a fool to court, there will be ranting and ridicule, but no satisfaction, right? And how are you going to end up there? You're dealing with him according to his folly, right? Whatever the case, the situation may be, yeah, they may be, as it says, ranting, right? Or as it says here, rages and scoffs, but there's not going to be any satisfaction or any peace. The bloodthirsty hate the upright, but the just seek his soul. The bloodthirsty hate blameless people. What's that scripture in the Apocrypha? It says that there, I forget exactly how it goes, but I think it's along the lines of like the wicked are like, they hate the righteous. There, it's like how was it a wicked woman envieth a virgin or something along those lines? I can't remember the exact wording, but in any case, it says here the bloodthirsty hate blameless people, but the upright seek to help them. Because the bloodthirsty, they're contrary, right? Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, is a good example. They hate them because the upright are contrary against the ways of the bloodthirsty or murderers. But the just seek the soul of the upright, right? To help them, to establish them, or to promote them. A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. So because a wise man knows how to read the room, right? He knows how to tell something in the right season. A fool just says anything that comes to his mind. If a ruler hearkens to lies, all his servants are wicked. It says, if a ruler pays attention to liars, all his advisors will be wicked. And that's not good for the kingdom, right? And that's why also it's important to vet those that are around you. And this could apply on even a lower level. It doesn't have to be a king and his cabinet. It can apply to anybody with those that are around you. You got to be very prudent in knowing who you allow to be around you, to influence you or to get into your ear. The poor and the deceitful man meet together. The Lord lighteneth both their eyes, right? So the poor and the deceitful man, they're meeting together. What they have in common, right, is basically what that is the Lord gives sight to both of them, right? They're both the creation of the Lord. The king that faithfully judgeth the poor, his throne shall be established forever, because he's judging in righteousness, and that's what's pleasing to the Lord. So the Lord is going to establish his throne forever. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. See, a child that's left to himself is not punished, is not corrected. That's the rod is to whoop his ass. The reproof is to correct him, right, with words. And it teaches him wisdom and brings him up in the right way. But if you don't punish him, he's going to bring shame to you. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. And in the book of Maccabees, it tells you that, right? When the descendants, or when the Greeks started, which were the Edomites at that point, started to put crowns upon their head, wickedness increased upon the earth. See, so when the wicked are multiplied, transgression is increased, because they push forth transgression, they put forth iniquity. But what's going to happen eventually? Their destruction is going to come, and the righteous shall see it. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Because if you correct him, right, you discipline him, he's going to grow up in a proper way, and he's going to bring you rest, not heartache. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. He's going to go in the way that you want. He's going to become successful. He's going to have good manners, and he's going to end up taking care of you. Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. And why is that? Because the vision is what, like when you go into the I think it's during the time of Samuel, it talks about how there was no open vision. Let me see if I can find that. Because the vision directs people, right? or not visions. Yeah, it might be 1 Samuel. Yeah, you see, it says here, and the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision, because the vision is to guide the people, right? If people needed, information or answers, or even if the Lord, wanted to, either give them a warning or direct them, he would send it through a vision, right, through the prophets. That's why they were called seers. So when they don't have that vision, they don't have that guidance, they end up going astray and they perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he, because he's going in the way that's pleasing to the Lord. And so, the Lord is going to bless him. A servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understand, he will not answer. It says, words alone will not discipline a servant. The words may be understood, but they are not heeded. And that's why you need to follow words with actions. That's how you instill that fear. That way your words hold weight, because they know that you can back it up. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope for a fool than of him. There is more hope for a fool than for someone who speaks without thinking. Because eventually what's going to happen? He's going to say something he's not supposed to say, divulge some secret, say something that he didn't think of, and it's going to bring a lot more trouble on his ass than he had thought. So you got to watch out for people like that. And you got to watch out that you yourself don't end up like that. Think before you speak. He that delicately bringeth up his servant from a child shall have him become his son at the length. It says a servant pampered from childhood will become a rebel. Right? NKJV. He who pampers, that's the delicately, his servant from childhood will have him as a son in the end. Or as it says in the NLT or NIV, a servant pampered from youth will turn out to be insolent. And so that's why when it says you got to be careful, right? That's why it tells you don't spare the rod. And because what you do is you spoil, right? You spoil the servant, you spoil the child. CSB, a servant pampered from his youth will become arrogant later on, or rebellious. An angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression. An angry person starts fight, that's your strife. A hot-tempered person commits all kinds of sin. So you got to watch out. You can't be around these kinds of people. I think in Ecclesiasticus it tells you that. Because what's going to happen if you're joined onto somebody like that? You're going to be taken down along with him. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. It says pride ends in humiliation. Right? The scriptures tell you pride goeth before a fall, while humility brings honor, and the reverse is true. Right? Before honor is humility. So you got to humble yourself, and the Lord will raise you up. But if you try to, big yourself up, make yourself, to be more than you are, then the Lord is going to abase you. Whoso is partner with a thief hateth his own soul. He heareth cursing and bewrayeth it not. If you assist a thief, you only hurt yourself. You are sworn to tell the truth, but you dare not testify. You see? The accomplices of thieves are their own enemies. They are put under oath and dare not testify. Because if you go there under oath and you go and you testify falsely, now you got the judgment of the Lord warranted upon you. See? So this is how you work against your own soul. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. It says fearing people is a dangerous trap, but trusting in the Lord means safety. And why is that? Because the Lord can deliver you out of them all. Right? What did Yahushua say? Fear not him that can kill the body. Let's get that real quick. Yeah, and fear not them that kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. That's the Most High. So you got to fear the Lord and put your trust in him, because if you fear man, it bringeth to a snare. It can be a snare to cause you to go off. Out of your fear from man, you can do something that you're not supposed to do. But if you trust in the Lord, you're not worried, because the Lord will deliver you from it all. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. NIV, many seek an audience with a ruler, but it's from the Lord that one gets justice. And that's what people need to understand, right? You're thinking, oh, you know what? If I have favor with the ruler, if something happens, he got my back. But the thoughts of that ruler themselves is determined by the Lord. So you need to have favor with the Lord first and foremost. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. So it's like vice versa, right? The unjust man is abominable to the just, right? They look at him in disgust, because they don't want to be like that. You want to abstain from wickedness as from filth. But the opposite is true as well. Once again, Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, goes into that, right? And he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. They hate the sight of him. Amos 5 and what's that, 10? They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and abhor him that speaketh uprightly. And that brings us to the end of the book of Proverbs, the 29th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.